Hello, everyone. I hope you're doing great today. Welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, hi, I'm Mira, and I'm so glad you're here. Today's topic is super important and practical: how to talk in English during a job interview, useful expressions and tips to sound confident and professional. Now tell me, have you ever felt nervous before a job interview, not because you don't know the answers, but because you're not sure how to say them in English? Yes? You're not alone. I've been there too. Many talented people miss opportunities, not because they aren't skilled, but because they struggle to express themselves clearly and confidently in English. That's why, in this video, I'm going to help you feel ready. Not just ready, but confident and professional. You'll learn how to introduce yourself naturally, common interview questions, and how to answer them, polite and powerful expressions, to use tips to sound more fluent, even if your English isn't perfect, and how to close the interview with grace. So grab a notebook, get comfortable, and let's dive deep into this together. Main content. The girl walks through each section casually, like talking to a friend. Okay, so let's start from the beginning. When you first enter the interview room, you smile, make eye contact, and greet politely. You can say, "Good morning. It's a pleasure to meet you." "Hello. Thank you so much for having me today." "Hi, I'm really excited to be here. Thank you for the opportunity." Keep your tone polite, friendly, and calm. If they offer you a seat, you can say, "Thank you. Thank you very much." Or even, "Thanks. I appreciate it." Simple, confident. No need for big words. Introducing yourself. Almost always, the first question is, "Tell me about yourself." Here's where people panic, but don't. This is not about your entire life story. It's about giving a clear, short, and relevant introduction. Here's an example. Sure. My name is Mira. I'm 26 years old, and I've recently completed my master's in marketing. Over the last year, I worked as an intern with XYZ Company, where I helped manage social media campaigns and learned a lot about customer engagement. I'm passionate about creating content and solving real problems through marketing. That's why I'm excited about this role at your company. Notice the structure: name, education, experience, skills. Why you're interested. You can follow the same pattern and keep it conversational, not robotic. Avoid saying, "My name is Mira. I'm a good girl. I'm honest and hardworking." That sounds like a school answer. Be natural. Speak like you're talking to a professional friend. Common questions and how to answer in English. Let's go through some typical interview questions. I'll show you useful expressions and tips to answer them professionally. 1. Why do you want to work here? Bad answer. Because your company is big and I like it. Better answer. I've always admired your company's focus on innovation and customer satisfaction. I believe this role will allow me to grow professionally and contribute meaningfully to your team. Tips. Research the company. Mention something specific you like about them. Connect your goal with their mission. 2. What are your strengths? Instead of saying, "I am a hard worker," explain with examples. One of my strengths is communication. During my internship, I had to work with cross-functional teams, and I was able to coordinate and present ideas clearly. I enjoy working with people and finding creative solutions. Other useful phrases. I'm a fast learner and always curious to improve. I'm detail-oriented and like to plan my work effectively. I enjoy solving problems and staying calm under pressure. 3. What is your weakness? This is tricky, right? Avoid saying, "I don't have any weakness." That sounds dishonest. Instead, choose a real area of growth and show you're working on it. Sometimes I focus too much on small details, which can slow me down, but recently I've started using time management tools to stay balanced and efficient. See? You're honest, but also show responsibility. 4. Why should we hire you? Don't just say, because I need a job. Try this. I believe my combination of skills, experience, and passion makes me a strong candidate. I'm eager to contribute, learn, and grow with your company. I'm also someone who takes responsibility and enjoys working as part of a team. 5. Tell me about a challenge you faced. During my internship, I had to manage a project with a tight deadline. At first, it was overwhelming, but I broke the task into smaller parts, worked late hours when needed, and successfully delivered it on time. That experience taught me a lot about focus and planning. Useful phrases. I learned a lot from that experience. It helped me grow professionally. It pushed me to improve my time management. Useful phrases for any part of the interview. Let's go through some expressions that can help you sound more natural. When you need time to think, that's a great question. Let me take a moment to think about it. Interesting, I'd say. When you don't understand, I'm sorry. Could you please repeat the question? I didn't quite catch that. Would you mind saying it again? When you finish your answer, I hope that answers your question. Let me know if you'd like more details. When you're asked about teamwork, I enjoy collaborating with others and believe in open communication. I always try to support my team members and share responsibilities. When you want to sound professional, I'm truly passionate about this field. I'm excited about the possibility of contributing to your company. Tips to sound confident, even if you're nervous. Let's be real. Interviews are scary, especially in English. Here are some practical tips that helped me. Practice aloud, not just in your head. Say your answers in front of a mirror or record yourself. Slow down. You don't need to speak fast to sound fluent. Take your time. Smile and breathe. Your body language adds confidence, even if you feel nervous. Don't worry about perfect grammar. Focus on clear ideas. Even native speakers make grammar mistakes. Use simple vocabulary. Don't try to impress with fancy words. Just be clear and respectful. How to end the interview politely. When the interviewer says, "Do you have any questions for us?" you can ask, "What does a typical day in this role look like? How does the team I'd be joining usually work together? What are the next steps in the hiring process?" And finally, when the interview ends, say, "Thank you so much for your time today. It was a pleasure speaking with you. I really appreciate the opportunity. I look forward to hearing from you." Smile, stand up, shake hands if it's appropriate, and leave with confidence. You know, when preparing for an interview, there's a lot more than just learning a few phrases. It's about transforming your mindset. I want you to think of every interview as both a conversation and an opportunity to not only share your skills, but also to learn about the company and see if it's the right fit for you. Today, I want to share some personal tips I've practiced over the years, and also walk you through additional real-life scenarios that might occur during interviews. Stay with me. Building your confidence through preparation, one thing I always say is, preparation builds confidence. Here are some extended strategies to be more prepared. Research the company in depth. It's not enough to just know their products or services. Look for their recent projects, any news or breakthroughs they've had. You can say, for instance, "I saw in your recent press release that your team is launching a new product line, and I'm really intrigued by how my experience in digital campaigns could contribute to this initiative." This shows that you're proactive and engaged with their current affairs. Mock interviews are your best friend. Practice with a friend, family member, or even record yourself. Here's an exercise. Write down 5 interview questions you expect and time yourself answering each for about 2 minutes. Play back your recording. Listen to your tone, pace, and clarity. Remember, Every pause matters. Practice answering clearly and with a natural speed. Rushing often makes your expressions feel rehearsed. Prepare your introduction and wrap up. Your opening and closing statements set the tone. For example, your opening might be, "Hello, my name is your name. I'm excited to be here because I'm passionate about your field, and I believe in bringing enthusiasm and creativity to every project I undertake." And when wrapping up at the end of the interview, "Thank you again for your time. I'm very interested in contributing to your team, and I look forward to the possibility of working together." These statements should come off as genuine rather than memorized. Feel the words, let your personality shine through, and stay authentic. Mindset. Think of it as a conversation, not an interrogation. Many candidates treat interviews like an interrogation, where every wrong answer might cost them the job. Instead, visualize it as a conversation. When you shift your mindset, your tone naturally becomes more conversational, and you're less tense. Remember, the interviewer is interested in you as much as you are in the role. Diving deeper into common interview scenarios. Let's take a closer look at a few more nuanced interview scenarios and how to handle them with smooth English expressions and comfortable body language. Handling unexpected questions. Sometimes interviewers throw in unexpected questions to see how you think on your feet. If you find yourself in such a situation, don't panic. Here's what you can do. Express genuine thoughtfulness. "That's an interesting question. Could I have a moment to gather my thoughts?" This simple request not only buys you a little time, but also demonstrates that you value thoughtful answers. Example: when asked about a hypothetical situation. Interviewer: how would you handle a conflict between two team members? Your answer might go like this. In a situation like this, I would first try to understand both perspectives and listen to each party fully. I believe in mediating by asking clarifying questions and suggesting a collaborative solution that respects both viewpoints. Ultimately, my goal would be to restore a constructive working environment. Notice how this response shows practical problem-solving skills along with empathy. Discussing your past experiences with finesse. Talking about past work experiences is key, especially when you highlight your achievements while staying humble. Let's look at a scenario. Interviewer: tell me about a time when you had to work under pressure. You might say, during a major project at my previous company, we faced a critical deadline when unexpected issues arose. To manage this, I organized short daily meetings with the team to address each problem area head-on. By focusing on quick, constructive feedback and supporting each other, we not only met the deadline, but also improved our overall process. I learned that clear communication and teamwork can turn pressure into an opportunity for growth. This response does a couple of things. It uses natural, confident language. It gives the interview a narrative quality that shows your emotions and actions. It reinforces your problem-solving skills without sounding boastful. Nuances of virtual interviews. With the shift toward virtual job interviews, there are extra layers of complexity. Let's talk about how to navigate them. Technology check. Before your interview, test your internet connection, microphone, and camera. When speaking, place your device at eye level to mimic direct eye contact. Background and environment. Ensure your background is neat and free of distractions. You could say, "I apologize if there's any background noise. I've prepared my space to minimize distractions, but please let me know if you have any difficulty hearing me. Engaging remotely. While in a virtual setting, it might help to occasionally reference your screen if you're showing a portfolio or presentation. Let me share my screen to give you an example of my previous work. As you can see here, this not only enhances your credibility, but also keeps the interview dynamic. Handling a virtual mishap. If something unexpected happens, like a brief frozen video, keep calm. A quick apologetic comment works wonders. I'm sorry, it seems there was a technical glitch. Let me fix that. Please bear with me. This reassures the interviewer that you remain composed under pressure. Advanced tips to elevate your fluency and professional tone. Let's now focus on some advanced tips that can help you sound even more professional and fluent during the entire interview. Speaking clearly with proper enunciation. Even if English isn't your first language, clear articulation is key. Practice speaking slowly if needed. Remember, it's not about rushing through words, but making every word count. You can practice tongue twisters, simple read-aloud exercises, or even record a daily diary entry on your phone. For example, practice using sentences like, I passionately pursue opportunities that empower my growth and enable me to contribute effectively. By repeating such exercises, you'll notice improvements in clarity, which ultimately builds your confidence when speaking in high-stakes interviews. Using transitional phrases to organize your thoughts. Transitional phrases are your best friends during an interview. They help structure your answers naturally. Here are some phrases that can guide your response. Starting an answer. To begin with. Firstly, adding details. In addition. Moreover. Furthermore. Concluding or summarizing. In summary. Overall. Therefore, I believe. Using these phrases can give your answers a logical flow and make it easier for the interviewer to follow your reasoning. Mastering the tone of humility and confidence. Striking the right balance between humility and confidence is essential. You can achieve this by acknowledging learning opportunities. If asked about your weaknesses or times you struggled, mention what you learned and how you improved. That challenge taught me valuable lessons about skill area, and I've since been proactive in seeking opportunities for improvement. Expressing gratitude. Express sincere thanks when discussing your experiences. I'm incredibly thankful for the mentorship I received during my internship, which greatly contributed to my personal and professional development. Practicing self-affirmation. Before the interview, give yourself a motivational pep talk. I'm capable, prepared, and ready to communicate clearly. I bring a unique perspective that can add value to this team. These techniques not only enhance your language, but also bolster your mental preparation. A role-play walkthrough. Let's practice together. Imagine I'm your interviewer. Let's go through a role-play scenario. I'll say a question, and then you'll try to respond naturally. This is a fun way to practice, either with a friend or by recording your responses for self-review. Interviewer. Can you describe a situation where you had to learn something completely new for your job? Take a moment and then respond like this. Absolutely. In my previous position, I had to quickly learn a new software tool for project management. Although I had no experience with it initially, I dedicated extra hours to online tutorials and reached out to colleagues for tips. Within a few weeks, I not only mastered the tool, but also developed a quick start guide for others in the team. This experience taught me that with dedication and the right resources, learning curves can become stepping stones to success. Try practicing several variations of this role play. Adjust your tone as if you're speaking to a friendly colleague. It's a great way to build both your vocabulary and confidence. Handling cultural nuances in international interviews. If you're applying to global companies or positions in diverse environments, it helps to understand cultural nuances in communication. Here are a few suggestions. Be aware of formality levels. In some cultures, using titles such as Mr. or Ms. is very important. For example, "Thank you, Mr. Johnson, for taking the time to meet with me today." In other more casual environments, first names might be preferred. Do your research to adapt your language accordingly, expressing politeness and respect. Phrases like please, thank you, and excuse me can go a long way in any language. For instance, if you need to interject during a conversation, say, "Excuse me, may I add something here?" This small interjection can demonstrate your respect for the conversation while allowing you to contribute. Clarifying questions. If you're not sure you understand an aspect of the question, it's perfectly acceptable and even expected to ask for clarification. "I'm sorry, could you please explain what you mean by specific term?" This shows that you're engaged and eager to ensure you address the interviewer's question accurately. Extra insights on body language and nonverbal communication now. Let's shift gears and talk about the importance of body language, which plays a massive role during any interview. Eye contact and posture. Maintaining eye contact shows engagement and sincerity. When you're speaking, keep your shoulders relaxed, but your back straight. It sends a clear signal of professionalism and confidence. Facial expressions. A warm, genuine smile can ease tension, both for you and the interviewer. Even if you feel nervous, a friendly expression goes a long way. When laughing naturally or nodding along, you convey that you are actively engaged in the discussion. Gesturing. Natural hand gestures can emphasize your points, but keep them moderate. Too many gestures can be distracting. Controlled movement signifies thoughtfulness. Listening skills. Active listening is as important as speaking well. Lean in slightly when the interviewer is talking, and occasionally nod to show you understand. Phrases like, "That makes sense," "I can see how that would work well," not only acknowledge the interviewer's points, but also show your engagement. Turning nerves into positive energy. For many of us, nerves can sometimes hinder our true potential. I want to share a few tips on how to channel that energy into a positive force. Mental reframing. Instead of thinking, "I'm nervous," try reframing that energy as excitement. Remind yourself that the interviewer is eager to learn about you. Deep breathing techniques. Practice deep breathing. Breathe in for a count of 4, hold for 4, and exhale for 4. This simple method helps lower anxiety and center your thoughts. Visualization. Imagine yourself succeeding. Picture the interview in your mind, from a warm greeting to a confident farewell. Visualizing success can create a positive mental framework that reflects in your speech. Strategies for closing an interview with impact. After the heart of the interview, the final moments can be your last impression. Let's go into more details on how to wrap things up on a high note. Recap your value. Near the end, briefly summarize your strengths without sounding redundant. For example, I believe my skills in communication and my proactive attitude, combined with my experience in digital marketing, make me a great fit for this role. Ask insightful questions. Instead of generic questions, try asking something that reflects your deep interest. For example, how does your team approach professional development? And what opportunities might there be for someone with my background? This shows that you're thinking ahead about growth and contribution. Express sincere gratitude. As you shake hands or say goodbye, be genuine. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to discuss my experiences. I'm very excited about the potential to contribute here, and I appreciate your time today. Follow up. After the interview, sending a polite email can strengthen your impression. The email might say, "Dear interviewer's name, thank you once again for our conversation today. I truly enjoyed learning about your team and am enthusiastic about the opportunity to join. Company name. I look forward to the next steps. Sincerely, your name." Even though this step happens off camera, it's part of the overall conversation that leaves your digital footprint. Additional role play. Handling technical or situational challenges. Let's walk through another situational role play. Imagine you're asked about a technical challenge or innovative idea. Interviewer: could you share an example of when you implemented a creative solution on a project? Pause and let your thoughts settle before answering. A response might be, "Certainly." In one of my previous roles, our team encountered a significant drop in customer engagement on our social media channels. I proposed a campaign that leveraged interactive content, combining live Q&A sessions with behind-the-scenes insights. We tested small focus groups first, gathered feedback, and then rolled out the full campaign. The result was a 35% increase in engagement within 2 months. This experience reinforced the value of listening to your audience and being flexible in your strategy. This detailed response not only shows creativity and problem-solving skills, but uses quantifiable details to back up the statement. Empowering yourself with continuing learning, the journey to confidently speaking English in a job interview isn't a one-and-done process. Consider it a continuous learning experience. Here are more ideas on evolving your skills. Join conversation clubs. Look for local language exchange meetups or online conversation clubs where you can practice English in various contexts. The more you speak, the more naturally the language will come to you. Watch and learn. Watch interviews on YouTube featuring professionals in your industry. Notice their tone, their vocabulary, and how they answer challenges. Mimic aspects that resonate with your style. Keep a vocabulary notebook. Every time you learn a new word or phrase related to professional settings, jot it down along with a sample sentence. Over time, you'll build a personal repertoire of language that feels natural to use. Engage in feedback sessions. If possible, ask friends or mentors to review your practice interviews. Constructive criticism can fine-tune your delivery and help you identify any unconscious habits that might be hindering clarity. Personal anecdotes, stories of growth and empowerment. I want to share a personal story, one that might resonate with many of you. In one of my early interviews, I remember stumbling over my words when asked about my weaknesses. I felt utterly unprepared for that question. However, I learned quickly that it was less about the mistake and more about how I recovered from it. After that interview, I spent time reflecting on my responses, practiced in front of a mirror, and eventually built a system of honest and constructive answers. I became much more comfortable discussing not just my achievements, but also my areas for growth. This resilience is exactly what I want you to cultivate. Remember, it's perfectly fine to say, I'm continuously learning and taking steps to improve my skills. This simple sentence can transform a weak moment into a demonstration of your commitment to personal development. Recapping key points without breaking the flow. Let's do a quick mental recap without sounding like we're reading a bullet list. Picture this as if you're summarizing for a friend. Every time you step into an interview, you're not just there to present your resume. You're there to start a dialogue, one that shows your passion, your willingness to learn, and your unique approach to tackling challenges. From greeting your interviewer with a sincere smile and a confident, "Hello, thank you for having me," to concluding with a thoughtful recap of how your vision aligns with the company's goals, I've shared some of the practical phrases that can really set the stage. And remember, every interview is an opportunity to polish your language skills while building your professional presence. Bringing it all together. Real-time interaction. Imagine we're in a real-time interview scenario where you're asked to explain a technical process, and you respond fluidly using the expressions we've discussed. The conversation might swing back and forth naturally, both sides engaged, both sides learning. You're not just answering, you're communicating, influencing, and leaving a memorable impression that goes far beyond a mere recitation of facts. For instance, if asked, "How do you handle feedback?" you could naturally reply, "I value feedback as a crucial tool for growth. When I receive constructive criticism, I take it as an opportunity to reflect and adjust my approach. I make it a habit to follow up with my supervisor, asking specific questions to better understand the areas where I can improve. This proactive approach has consistently helped me refine my work and contribute more effectively to team projects. It's the blend of authenticity and preparedness that propels you forward. You know, one of the most powerful ways to truly master how to talk in English during a job interview is by embracing every little bit of practice, even outside of formal mock interviews. Let's explore some more interactive and personal ways to polish your skills. Sometimes, I like to imagine that I'm having a heart-to-heart conversation with a friend over coffee, and I'm sharing my struggles, victories, and even embarrassing moments from past interviews. It may sound a bit vulnerable, but when you share your genuine experiences, you not only build your language confidence, you also empower others to see that it's okay to be human in these moments. Imagine this scenario with me. I'm sitting in a cozy cafe, and my friend asks, "Mira, how do you stay so calm in interviews when you're worried about making mistakes?" I'd smile, take a sip of my coffee, and say something like, "Honestly, I remind myself that no one is perfect. Every interviewer understands that language isn't always flawless, and they care more about your ideas and the energy you bring. I try to focus on genuine communication rather than perfection. When I stumble, I just pause, rephrase, and continue confidently. This honest, reflective moment is exactly the type of mindset that you want to cultivate. And it's not just about speaking correctly, it's about expressing your ideas with authenticity and passion. Think about the time you were really proud of overcoming a challenge. It might be the first time you gave a presentation in English, or the day you nailed that tricky conversation with someone from a different culture. Use that memory to fuel your energy before an interview. Remind yourself that every conversation is a chance to share what makes you unique. For instance, before heading into the interview room, try a little exercise. Stand in front of a mirror and say aloud, "I am prepared, I am confident, and I bring value with every word I speak." Speak slowly, clearly, and let each word resonate with your personal truth. This not only sets a positive tone, but also quiets those nagging insecurities that sometimes creep in. Now, let's have some fun with an interactive exercise that you can practice right after this video. Grab a notebook or open a document on your computer, and let's do this together. Write down 3 common interview questions. Think about the questions we discussed earlier. Tell me about yourself. What are your strengths? And can you describe a time when you faced a challenge? Write these questions at the top of your page. Jot down your natural responses in English. Write in your own words, just as you would speak to a friend. Don't worry about perfect grammar. Just focus on clarity and sincerity. For example, for "Tell me about yourself," you might write, "I grew up loving creativity, from drawing to writing stories. Later on, I discovered how much I enjoy brainstorming ideas for projects, which eventually led me to pursue a degree in communications and a career in marketing." Practice out loud and record yourself. Use your phone to record your answers. Later, listen to the playback. Notice your tone, pace, and any moments where you hesitate. This isn't for perfection, it's to become aware of where you're strong and where you can improve. Revise your responses if needed. Rephrase parts that don't sound natural to you. The goal is to create responses that truly reflect who you are, while clearly articulating your strengths and ambitions. This exercise not only improves your language skills, but also builds your overall confidence. The more you hear yourself speak in natural, authentic English, the easier it becomes to do so in stressful interview environments. I also get a lot of questions from you wonderful viewers, so let's simulate a live Q&A segment. Imagine I'm reading your questions right now. Here are some examples and my responses. Viewer question 1. What if I freeze up during an interview and can't think of the right words? I'd answer, "That's totally understandable. It happens to the best of us." When you feel stuck, it's perfectly acceptable to say, "That's a good question. Let me just take a moment to think about it." This not only gives you time to organize your thoughts, but shows the interviewer that you care about providing a thoughtful answer. Remember, it's okay to pause. Viewer question 2. How do I balance speaking fluently while also ensuring accuracy? The key is practice. It's not about saying every word perfectly. It's about conveying your ideas clearly. Start with simple expressions and build from there. With practice, you'll notice that the balance between fluency and accuracy improves naturally. Don't worry too much about small mistakes. They're part of the learning process. Viewer question 3. What are some extra tips for non-native speakers on managing nerves? Great question! Apart from practice and preparation, here are a few extra tips. Visualization. Imagine a successful interview and how that success feels. Breathing techniques. Slow, deep breaths help calm your mind and body. Positive self-talk. Remind yourself that every word you speak is valuable, And each interview is a learning experience. Mock interviews. The more you simulate the interview environment, the less intimidating it becomes. Let's also talk a bit about using everyday conversation skills to boost your interview performance. Sometimes everyday interactions hold the secret to more formal conversations. Here's what I mean. When you're chatting with friends or colleagues in English, notice the natural flow of the conversation, how questions lead to stories, how pauses come naturally, and how laughter and friendly banter make the dialogue enjoyable. The same principles apply in interviews. Listen actively, then build your answer from what you heard. Use short, clear sentences that aren't overburdened with complicated words. Ask clarifying questions if something isn't clear. For example, if the interviewer says something that you find a bit abstract, you might politely respond, "I'm sorry, could you help me understand what you mean by that?" This not only shows your attentiveness, but also gives you a moment to ensure you answer appropriately. It's important to note that every interview is a learning opportunity. Even if one interview doesn't go as well as you hoped, reflect on what you learned from that experience. After every interview, take a few minutes to write down the aspects that went smoothly and those you'd like to improve. You might reflect on questions that caught you off guard, or notice where you could insert a little more positivity into your tone. As part of this growth process, celebrate small wins. Did you use a new, effective expression for the first time? Did you feel your confidence rising as you answered more naturally than before? Those moments are wins, and over time, they add up to a significant transformation in your communication skills. There's also a creative angle that I find immensely helpful: role-playing different scenarios with a friend. One idea I often recommend is to pretend you're interviewing for different types of jobs, even if they aren't your dream role. It could be a customer service position today, and tomorrow, it might be a project management role. By switching contexts, you'll adapt your language to different professional environments. You'll learn not only which expressions sound best, but also how to modify your tone to fit varying levels of formality. For example, when interviewing for a creative role, you might say, "I thrive in environments that encourage innovative thinking. My previous job allowed me to experiment with out-of-the-box ideas, and I loved every minute of it because it nurtured my creative spirit." Whereas, for a more traditional corporate role, you might adjust your answer. "In my previous role, I focused on efficient problem solving and clear communication. I believe these skills are essential for maintaining professionalism and achieving collective goals." By practicing these slight variations, you eventually develop a flexible communication style that naturally shifts depending on your audience. Let's look at another scenario that might come up in the interview. Imagine the interviewer asks you, "Describe a project you are most proud of." This is your chance to shine by combining your narrative skills with expressions we've talked about. A great response might be, "I'm really proud of the project where I managed a team to revamp our company's social media strategy. We were facing declining engagement, so I proposed a series of creative content ideas. I organized brainstorming sessions, delegated tasks based on team strengths, and set clear milestones. In the end, our efforts boosted engagement by 40% in just 3 months. That experience taught me the importance of teamwork, innovative thinking, and perseverance." Not only is this response structured and clear, but it's also packed with specifics and enthusiasm that make it memorable. And when you can articulate a narrative with confidence, that energy carries over into every part of your interview. Now, I want to take you through another interactive segment that I sometimes do in front of the camera. Let's pretend I'm the interviewer again, and I ask, what do you do when you're faced with multiple deadlines at once? I pause, gather my thoughts, and then answer. When confronted with multiple deadlines, I first prioritize by assessing the urgency and impact of each task. I use a digital planner to schedule my day and allocate time slots for focused work sessions. This method not only reduces stress, but ensures each project gets the attention it needs. Moreover, I believe in communicating clearly with my team about timelines and expectations, so everyone is on the same page. Try recording yourself for this exercise. Notice if you tend to rush or if your voice wavers. Every recorded session is a mini masterclass in understanding your natural speech patterns. You might then replay the recording and adjust phrases or the flow of ideas until you feel your answers sound just right. A final note before wrapping up this extended session. Always remember that communication is a two-way street. Interviews are not just about you showcasing your skills, but also about discovering if the company is the right fit for your personality and career ambitions. When you balance both sides of the conversation, you convey maturity, professionalism, and authenticity. As we wind down this part of our session, let me leave you with one more personal tip that has helped me the most. When in doubt, trust yourself. There will always be moments when you feel unsure or worry that your English might not be perfect. But remember, the beauty of communication lies in its imperfections. It's your passion, your resilience, and your unique personality that shine through. Keep a mental note of your past successes, every hurdle you've overcome, every challenge you've turned into a learning moment. Those are the pillars of the confidence you bring into the interview room. And remember, interviews are as much about mutual discovery as they are about qualifications. When you step in, know that you have something truly valuable to offer, and no one can take that away from you. So, let's recap this journey one more time without breaking the flow. You've learned to greet confidently, introduce yourself with purpose, answer questions with thoughtful honesty, and wrap up with a memorable closing. You've practiced interactive exercises, refined your body language, managed unexpected scenarios, and embraced the power of reflective practice. And above all, you've discovered that each interview is a stepping stone toward not just a job, but a continual journey of growth and self-assurance. As we come toward the end of this in-depth script, I invite you to think of your next interview as an exciting challenge rather than a daunting task. Embrace every mistake as a learning opportunity, and let your true self, which is full of potential, intelligence, and creativity, shine through every answer and expression. If you have any questions about these techniques, or if you'd like to share your own experiences, please leave a comment below. I love hearing from you, and your stories inspire me just as much as I hope these tips help you. Don't forget to like this video if you found these insights helpful, and subscribe for more practical English tips to boost your professional life. Thank you for sticking with me through this extended deep dive. I'm incredibly proud of you for taking these steps toward mastering English in the professional world. Keep practicing, keep learning, and most importantly, Keep believing in yourself. Until next time, remember, every conversation is an opportunity. Every interview is a chapter of your success story. And every word you speak builds the bridge to your future. This is Mira signing off, sending you all good vibes and the courage to face your next interview with confidence and clarity. Stay inspired, stay positive, and I'll see you in the next video. End of extended YouTube script continuation. Feel free to adjust this segment further to suit your personal style or the specific needs of your video. Good luck with your filming, and remember, the best way to learn is by doing, so go out there and shine in your next interview.